Does it work now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay. No delay?
Yes. Sorry, just muted because of the needs to be here for this because of the feedback.
DC. Okay. Oh. Okay, you're gonna go? Maybe a jar of those green olives. Those green olives. Well, because we have these ones, but they're really salty. Con hueso, siempre con hueso. Sin hueso, las aceitunas sin huesos son muy saladas. Por eso me gustan, pero solo como un poquito. Is it time to start, Chanini? Now? Like I'm on the screen? Oh, cool. That's so weird. There I am on the screen. Whoa, next time. Okay. Okay, it's a little bit weird talking with no feedback of any kind, and you guys are muted, but obviously everybody can hear me. But hello! I'm just looking at the screen of myself and the Spock wall right now, so it's a little bit, because this is very trippy. Okay, so I guess I'll just say, should I stop talking now, you guys? You look like you're typing something into the computer. Tell me when to go. Now? Okay. So first off, thank you to everybody who submitted homework. I know that it took time out of your day running your business and all that stuff, so I really appreciate it. It makes a huge difference. And I will, in today's masterclass, I'm going to assume that everybody has has watched the webinars and accessed all of the public materials. Wait, what's the matter? Stop. It's really crazy that you guys are muted. I think it would be better if you didn't mute it and then I could get feedback. Stop. You're fixing something, but I don't know what you're trying to tell me. Can you not hear me? We hear you twice. Do you want me to try with my headphones? That's the only thing I can think of. No, there's an echo. Well, it's probably the internet, guys. We always have internet problems at the office, right? Does it help if I use headphones? Not really. Testing, testing. I did say testing twice just then. Hello, Chandini. I only said that once. Thank you for your patience, everyone. Now it's working? Okay, cool. So we are going to skip the niceties and the formalities and just get straight into it. This masterclass is for you if you have done the homework and if you have watched the webinars. If you have not done the above, especially the webinars, you're going to have a lot of questions that will be very boring to your batchmates because they did watch the webinars and they're answered in the webinars. So just know that for now. And the structure of this will be, so I reviewed everybody that sent me emails to review. I reviewed them except for the people that sent them within the past 15 minutes. I did not review your emails. So if you sent them this morning since 9:30 a.m. your time, I have not reviewed your emails. And everybody else, I've reviewed yours. And so I've got a couple of slides and they're based off of some of the general things that I've seen across all the emails. And then we're gonna go and like break down everybody's who submitted, everybody's specific flows and even the content directly itself. Oh, and one more clarification. This masterclass is about email marketing. The one later this week is about content marketing. There's a little bit of confusion because they're both on the homeworks were kind of grouped together, but it's actually two separate topics. So if you submitted stuff about content marketing, we will definitely talk about that, but not today. Okay? So now I'm going to try a novel thing called screen sharing. Wait, let me see. How do I do this? Screen share. This is the one I want to screen share. Hang on a second. Yay! Oh, I'm spoiling it. Okay, here. Now, the only issue is I want to go full screen, but I need to see my notes. Oops, I didn't think of that. Okay, let me just work this out for a second. Perfect. Okay, guys, is it okay if I just do the slides without doing the present mode? I think it's okay, because I want to be able to look at my notes about specific people's emails in my other window. And I've only got one laptop here. Don't have my external. Okay, so welcome to the masterclass, batch 17. Great job making it into batch 17. Thanks so much for wading through the technical stuff and for even that we're trying to resolve right this minute. And thanks so much for doing the homework, as I said. Okay, so let's get into it. All right, first things first, really quickly, email, what is the difference between email marketing and content marketing? I think most of you guys know, but because there was some confusion, I felt that this would be a good moment to clarify. Okay, so the main difference between email and content marketing is that email is a channel and a method. So email marketing is channel specific. Duh, it's about emails. Content marketing, however, is multi-channel and involves a method. Therefore, it is channel agnostic. Email is not your content marketing strategy, although the two are highly complementary. And if I had to pick one for your business, I would pick all of the above for sure. But email marketing is definitely very, very even more important because rather than just being about acquiring traffic, it's about actually converting the traffic that you acquire. Content marketing is an inbound strategy, so it's a way you would acquire traffic to your site. But once the traffic comes onto your site, the number one most important thing you can do with that traffic is grab their email, grab those people's email, because otherwise, as I've said like a million times in my webinars, less than 1% of people buy on the front end. That is, you know, the first time they hit your landing page or your website. 99%, an unscientific 99% buy on the back end. That is after they've known you for a while and you've been selling to them through other channels where you can have a direct line of contact. What other channels? Well, email. Okay, so today we're supposedly going to talk about email for acquisition, but we're actually just going to talk about everything about email marketing based on what I saw from your email specifically. So it's very, very tailored program for you guys today. But really quickly about email for acquisition, it's basically breaks down into 3 simple things. Get traffic, that's that inbound marketing, content marketing bit that I just mentioned. So number 1, get traffic. Number 2, give people a reason to trust you and to give you their contact information. And number 3, ask, 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 ask. Ask persistently, ask everywhere, ask all the time. And I don't just mean ask for their email, although that's really, really important. It is what I mean, and it's not only what I mean. Ask for their email, but once you have their email and they're on your list, you want to always make sure you're asking for what you need from that particular email. If you're not asking for something, even if it's something, you know, if there's no CTA in your email, then you have no business sending the email. And the CTA does not always have to be buy this thing now. It can be, oh, stop in slide 3. Chandini says, internet is terrible here, stop in slide 3. Okay, I'm stopping. Awaiting further instruction. Repeat from beginning of slide 3, please. Yes, ma'am. Okay, so repeating from beginning, can you guys hear me now? Somebody Slack me or something. Yes, okay, hooray. So repeating from the beginning of slide 3, basically I was just talking about email for acquisition. We're gonna cover email, all around email marketing based on what I saw in your guys' email. But first, just a quick note about what email for acquisition means. Email is not a way for you to acquire traffic to your website, obviously, because the traffic has to be there in the first place for you to get people's email address and be able to email market them. Okay, that's what content marketing and your paid strategy is all about. But email for acquisition means acquiring leads into customers. So there's 3 basic buckets for how that happens. One is you have to get traffic. And as I said, that can be through your inbound strategy, content marketing, or through paid traffic, whatever it is. Number 2, the second thing you have to do is give people a reason. So give people a reason to trust you and to give you their email. After that, number 3 is all about asking. Ask, ask, ask. Ask persistently, ask constantly, and ask everywhere. And I don't just mean ask for their email address, although I do also mean that. It's not the only thing though. Once you've asked for their email address persistently and everywhere, you also want to make sure that every time you have a touch point with your lead or customer, that you're asking something. I don't mean this to be annoying. I don't mean this in any kind of annoying way or that you should be pushy or selling stuff all the time. What I do mean is that if you don't have anything that you're asking for, even a very light ask, a very low commitment ask, then you have no business taking up space in their inbox or, you know, in their day. So that is related to the call to action rule, which is in my email marketing webinar, but every email must have a call to action. If you have no call to action in your email, don't send it. If you have an unclear call to action in your email, don't send it. If you have multiple calls to action in your email, don't send it. And we'll get to that in a second. Okay, next slide. I wanted to just make a special call out based on what I saw from you guys sending to me about your welcome email. Now, did you guys know, just ask yourselves or even raise your hand if you want to, did you guys know that your welcome email is your single most important email? Therefore, work really, really hard on this. But did you know it's your most important email? It's the most important email you're ever gonna send to anybody. And here's why. Because your welcome email sets the tone and the deliverability and the sender rating for all of the rest of the emails that you're gonna send to those subscribers. If they're not opening your welcome email, if you're not getting over a 60 or 70% open rate on your welcome email, you need to go back to the drawing board and fix that immediately. Because if they don't open your welcome email, chances that they're gonna open your subsequent emails are very low. Your welcome email sets the tone for all of the rest of the email marketing that you do. It's critically important. Do not just do like a throwaway kind of, oh, welcome to the service, glad you're here, see you later kind of thing. Put a lot of thought into the welcome email. and rewrite it multiple times. And that's why I had it as part of the homework. That's why I had the subject line rewrites as part of the homework, just on the welcome email. Because if you were to spend 80% of your effort on one part of your email marketing, I would say spend it all on your welcome email and the 20% on all of the rest of it. It's that skewed. Okay, so now the next couple of slides really quickly. I don't have that many slides. The next couple of slides, we're just going to cover the basics. And this is really sad, but you can't see the animation here. But in this slide, it was supposed to RuPaul was supposed to come in after a second, not like just on the slide. But anyway, it was just my way of saying now we're going to cover the basics that are still very, very important. And these are basics, not that it's not just the stuff that I generally talk about in email marketing, but specifically from what I saw in your emails. Okay, so we'll just go over 5 basic things. Basic thing number 1. Does anybody know what basic thing number 1 is? There are no words on this slide, but I wanted to see if anybody could maybe possibly guess it. I will wait. I will give this 5 seconds of silence because Justin is worth that. Okay, so the basic thing number 1, the most basic thing after your welcome email, of course, is, no, start sending emails right away. No, that's not correct, guys. That's not, how does this Justin cover, how does this Justin Bieber cover have anything to do with start sending emails right away? Come on, guys. So if anybody knows anything in this room, you know that the name of this album is Purpose. Duh. Okay. Oh, they're still guessing. Oops. Stop guessing. Stop guessing. It's not important. It was just for fun. So the basic thing number 1 is that every email has to have a specific singular purpose. One purpose. Okay, and this is related to if you don't have a CTA or if you don't have a reason for sending an email, a really concrete, specific reason, do not send it. If you create a 10 email drip campaign, every one of them, so in the homework, I had asked you guys to create a 10 email drip campaign. Now, here's like the kind of caveat or the trick to that question. 10 emails may or may not be the right number for you. I said 10 just because I don't know you yet, and that was just a general number to throw out there. Maybe your magic number is 7. Maybe your magic number is 13. The point here that I'm trying to make is that don't feel like you have to inflate it up to 10 if you don't have 10 purposes, okay? If you don't have 10 things that you need to say. Don't feel like you need to constrict it to 10, constrain it to 10 if you have 13 purposes or if you have 13 things that you need to say. Each email needs to have a purpose. Purpose is the most important thing. And now I'm sure everybody's nodding your head and saying, oh gosh, rolling your eyes, this is the most obvious thing under the sun. If that is the case, then how come so many of your emails that I read over the today simply seem to have no purpose? They were aimlessly wandering emails. And I will show you the specific examples why, but just keep this in mind. The basic thing number 1 is that every email has to have a really defined, concrete purpose. Okay, basic thing number 2, also very basic and yet somehow not so basic. It's not about you. None of your marketing is about you. You're hurting us, Susan. None of your marketing is about you, and especially your email marketing is not about you. And there's 3 reasons why. Susan, I don't care. Number 2, your leads don't care. And number 3, your best customers, your very best customers who actually have paid you money, who have trusted you with their credit cards, only kind of care. Duh. That's what Justin's saying right now. He's saying, come on, use your heads, guys, use your noggins. So although this might seem really basic, once again, I would say about 90% of the emails that I read from the batch, and I'm not trying to hate on you, but I'm just observing, I'm not criticizing, as I always say. It's an observation, not a criticism. About 90% of the emails that I read missed out on basic thing number 2. You made it all about you and not at all about your customers or your leads and their needs and their problems and who they are. So that's a big opportunity missed out. Basic thing number 3 is the follow-on to basic thing number 2. Now I recently watched the neighborhood butcher is not something that I made up, but I'm elaborating on it here. I recently watched Gary Vaynerchuk do a little talk, and he's talking about how he believes that marketing is going from big box and how business in general is going from big box back to the way it was done 50 years ago, except with better economies of scale. And he specifically cited the neighborhood butcher. Now, just for the record, as an asterisk, I'm a vegetarian. I've been vegetarian since I was 16, so I've never been to a butcher. But I know from oldie movies and like watching reruns on TV and from this Gary Vaynerchuk talk, supposedly in the old days, the neighborhood butcher would know exactly how you liked your cuts of meat or tofurkey or whatever it is, would know on a Wednesday you're going to come by after work and you're going to want this, on a Friday you're going to want this, and on a Sunday you're going to want this because you have 4 kids in your family. He would know about the kids. He would know like that one of them's in baseball and one of them's in like acting class or whatever it is. The neighborhood butcher knew their customers because it was small and community oriented, and therefore because it's a lifelong relationship, they're able to develop deep customer insight and customer clairvoyance. Now we have all of the tools at our disposal to be the neighborhood butcher for the world now, and that's extremely powerful. So why then are so many businesses not taking advantage of that? Why are we still acting like big box businesses? And why, an even tougher question, why are so many startups, which are anything but a big box business, why are so many startups acting like big box businesses? Why are so many startups talking like big box businesses? Why are so many startups emailing like big box businesses? I don't have the answer. Well, I do, but you know, it's going to get into criticism territory. So just think about that for a second and think about how can I be more like the neighborhood butcher and less like the big box store? Because that's the direction that we're going in right now, and that can be to your enormous advantage when you have technology platforms and distribution channels to your kind of in your court, as well as deep clairvoyance on your customers. And I included this wonderful GIF of Justin because he is looking you right in the eye just as he winks. And that's what we want to do with our customer, right? That's what we want to do with all of our prospects and turn them into leads and turn them into customers. We want to look them into the eye, look at them in the eye. We want to make straight, clear, deep eye contact and make them feel like we see them and we see who they are, even if it's just an animated GIF of Justin Bieber. Okay, basic thing. Number 4 is about your call to action. CTA stands for call to action. Now, I saw quite a couple emails that had either no CTA or was very vague, like, you know, let us know what you think. Okay, well, I think I need to do my laundry today. What am I supposed to write in and tell you that I want to do my laundry today? Or click here, 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 and here. What am I supposed to do? So a successful CTA is action-oriented, it's extremely clear, it's strong and direct, there's only one, it's unequivocal what you're supposed to do, and it's singular. Okay, so one thing, one email, one CTA. You do not want your customers standing around with their back against a blank wall, looking lost and forlorn with a sign that says, "What do you mean?" Unless they're about to shoot a music video. Okay, basic thing number 5. You want there to be one way into your email funnel. They opt in. That's the ideal, okay? A lot of people have asked me in the past, in past batches, okay, well, what if I data scrape or what if I buy a list? That's okay, but think of those as distant second and third place to an opted-in email subscriber. And there's a lot of reasons for that, but the main thing has to do with sender reputation, list quality, because if you have a list that you've purchased, first of all, you don't know how many times that list has been purchased or sold and resold to all kinds of other spammers or whoever else, and how many of those are gonna hard bounce. You have no idea about the integrity of that list. And in fact, you do have a little bit of an idea. You have some idea that it's probably not that high, because what kind of person makes a business selling email lists of people that didn't opt in? What kind of person? kind of a scammy person, right? So like, how do you think that they're going to spend their time, hand curating those lists and cleaning them up for you? I don't think so. Bot lists are no good. I know it's convenient, it's tempting, and you feel like you can get a big boost, but you'll get low open rates, low click-through rates, and besides that, it can dramatically hurt your sender reputation on your domain. So you can't just be like, oh, I'll clearly change it from susan@susan.com to info@susan.com, and they'll never know. Google will never know. That's not going to happen because it actually is on your domain. So one way in, ideally opt in, and type focus one way out, the call to action. You do not want there to be a whole bunch of leaks in any part of your funnel, whether that's a landing page funnel, your website funnel, your activation funnel, or your email messaging funnel. Somebody asked me in one of the like email homeworks that you guys sent in, should we, or you had it like in your doc, should we include all of our social buttons so that they can follow us on social media? Now it's tempting, and it makes total sense why people would want, why you would want to encourage your general audience to follow you on social media. But I would highly discourage that, especially in the beginning when you have much more important things that you need them to do, namely to activate, because those are just leaks. Social media, remember, is just an amplification for the main thing that you're doing, which is email marketing. Social media is not as good as email marketing because social media is on other people's platforms. Twitter owns your social media. Facebook owns your social media. LinkedIn owns your social media. You own your email list. You own your email marketing. So does social pay off? Most certainly, but don't rob from your email marketing to pay into your social. Maybe only later after it's exhausted. Remember, no leaks. And by the way, I found this image because I started typing leak and then the letter J, and this was the Google Suggest. This was the Google Suggest result. I did not come up with this on my own. Google came up with it for me. Okay, so now on to the emails. We are going to go over individual emails at this point. So let me just go through. The companies I have are T&J, Beauty Date, Screen Door, Cladwell, Talify, AugoCode, and Parkbench, okay? And I've got a couple of notes for each of these. We'll just breeze through them really quickly. I'm pretty sure I would say everybody can learn from each other because there's a lot of really juicy general stuff in here. And what I'm gonna do is just pull up. Can you guys see this spreadsheet? I think so. I see it on your screen there. Oh, it's slow. Okay. So this is for T&J. Can the T&J, are you guys in the room? I think yes. Can you just stand up really quickly? This is like this weird interactive thing where I can't see you and you can't even see me, but I'm gonna ask you to interact. Can you please stand up and just in 10 seconds tell the room what you guys do? Tiffany and Jen. Oh, I know what they do, but can Tiffany and Jen tell the room what they do? E-commerce site for clothing and jewelry. Okay, cool. So thanks, first of all. I don't remember if it was Tiffany or Jen, but thank you for submitting your info. Let me see if I can make this bigger. Is it bigger now? Okay, so this is fine. Here are the customer-facing benefits. I get to find new clothes and jewelry I can't get anywhere else. Okay, that seems like a pretty good benefit, pretty unique. First access to new styles as soon as they're on the site. That seems pretty unique. That's cool. Okay. First, to find out about sales and promotions. Starting over, I'm just gonna quickly go over the T&J stuff now. So the customer-facing benefits look great. They definitely seem like they're in the words of the customer, and they make sense. So let's just get right into the get right into the drip campaigns. So let's read a couple of these together. You're now on the glam list. Enjoy 15% off your entire order. Everybody gets this. If they browse but they didn't buy, get 15% off your order. Last chance to use your code. Pop the champagne. Get 15% off your order. Top customer favorites. Which is yours? Don't forget, free shipping and returns. These are the subject lines, by the way. New arrivals for your spring wardrobe needs. Tacos and tequila. Yes, please. New teas every month. Insta deals, limited time sales that you don't want to miss out on. $30 and selling out fast. Don't miss out on these styles. Kim K's favorite look, and ours is a style steal. Our looks, your style, are bestsellers as seen on you. All right? What I love about these emails is that you've categorized them by the psychological trigger. So that's like so fantastic. That's so advanced. I love that. Really, really good job doing that. Now a little bit of feedback on the psychological triggers and the way that you've used them. So one of my notes I had here is that you've misused scarcity a bit. You're wasting some of the first and most important words and characters of your subject line on pretty whimsical stuff like pop the champagne, tacos and tequila, yes please, Insta deals. Now it sounds really cute, but imagine this in an inbox with 200 new emails that look exactly like this. How does pop the champagne evoke curiosity or beg and open when it's next to 200 other bolded emails that look like this? So the number one thing for a subject line, now I've changed kind of my own approach to this a little bit, but I would say the number one most important factor is not necessarily the psychological trigger for the subject line, okay? For the email itself and within general marketing, psychological triggers are extremely powerful and very important to understand and to use properly. But for subject lines themselves, the number one most important factor is curiosity. So if you reveal everything in your subject line, or you don't leave anything to the imagination, or you're spending words that don't trigger any curiosity, like pop the champagne just seems really generic to me. So does tacos and tequila, yes please. It's really cute. It sounds like something that Yelp would send me, but you guys aren't Yelp. And the thing that Yelp has that you don't have is an established household name brand and a deep relationship, a years-long relationship with most of their email subscribers, and the ability to afford a lot of churn and burn because they're a big company. You guys can't afford that, so you have to use a lot more curiosity. And I have put scarcity misused on here for some reason. I can't remember. Oh, because I think, well, I might be misunderstanding your drip campaign, but when you have multiple times that you can take 15% off, and it's because you're on a special list, but then they realize, okay, maybe it's not because I'm on the special list because these other people are getting it as well, and then it says it's the last chance, but then again, it's advertised on Pop the Champagne, then it kind of feels like, wait, the scarcity is very unspecific. So the way that scarcity works really, really well, and maybe that's not, maybe you guys haven't got it totally right, but I'm just gonna use this as a chance to say the reminder, bring up the point that scarcity, in order to use scarcity really well, and I highly encourage the use of scarcity, but in order to use it really well, you have to follow through on your threat to expire. Whether that's to expire the deal, expire the unit numbers, because you can use scarcity on unit numbers, or expire the availability of a certain tier or whatever it is, certain promotion, whatever it is. So again, maybe T&J, that's not what you meant, or it's kind of hard to understand from a spreadsheet, obviously, how the flow and the logic all works. but just using it as a chance to remind everyone that scarcity does work, but only if you follow through. No fake scarcity. Then you'll never be able to use scarcity again, basically. And your other psychological triggers will be hurt dramatically as well. Finally, let's see, you guys had a letter from the founder. So here, let's just go over a couple of the welcome email subject lines. These are fine, but a couple of things. Is Style Squad really is Pound Style Squad something that your subscribers really already understand? If not, then keep it really simple. Welcome from Tiff and Jen. I love this. Tiff and Jen welcome you to our family with 15% off. I would take out the exclamation point. Just keep it really explanatory. Show the benefit in the subject line, 15% off. And the best welcome email subject lines are a little bit personal. So I really like that they included their names in this, because that makes it harder to just be like, oh, delete Tiff and Jen. Oh wait, Tiff and Jen are real people. Okay, maybe I should open it. So it invokes a little bit of personal connection there. Okay, so the letter from the founders is a little bit long for us to go over right now. But my main feedback on the letter from the founders, on this letter from the founders, and all of the letter from the founders that I read from all who submitted, is that it's nice, it's okay storytelling, but it's too me, and it's very long-winded. So my teardown of this, or my advice to you, would be to tighten this up. You can include 1 or 2 lines about your founding myth. We felt this was missing in the marketplace. We created this because we wanted to discover clothing and jewelry under $100 ourselves. We didn't see it out there, so we decided to create T&J, basically, to satisfy our own needs, and then our friends started liking it, whatever your founding myth is. A very brief founding myth, maximum 2 sentences, that leads straight into the benefits of the business to the customer. And by that, I mean, this is really sweet. They're obviously very, very nice people. They are really genuine. They care about their customers, but there's just a little bit too much information. And it's just the point where, you can drip out this information. Like, for example, in the second paragraph, we have passion. We're proud to be a family business. We're also moms. We're also community members. We like to get feedback. Guess what? Each one of those things that I just listed, that could be included in a subsequent email as a little attribute that you include in a little piece of storytelling that you include in a subsequent email. You don't have to stuff it all into the same one. Okay, just to inject a little bit of T&J-ness, a little bit of T&J personal touch into all of the subsequent emails. Okay, so the next one I want to cover really quickly is beauty date. And you guys had a lot of stuff in here, so I'm just going to look at this document. This is the homework document. Chandini just chatted me. Can you make your font a little bigger? Let's see, can I? How about that? Okay, so I think you guys misunderstood this part that said list 3 customer-facing benefits. That's supposed to be benefits to your customers, but that's fine, no problem. Let's just look at the drip campaigns. So my notes on your drip campaigns were, wow, basically good, exclamation point. This is my note to myself. Hey, this is basically good. So this is the subject line here for everybody else. And then the second thing after the slash, I think, is your call to action. So to me, this looks basically good. It's pretty solid. Now, I wouldn't change too much without knowing more about the content of the emails themselves. Here is the welcome email. Blah, blah, blah. We know that choosing the best tools to take care of your business is not an easy task. Blah, 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 blah. All this stuff. Kindly, Rebecca, customer success team. So my feedback on this was, consider making this a letter from the founder. Why did you start Beauty Date? What is Beauty Date? What is the founding myth? Just like we talked about in the previous one with T&J. What's your founding myth briefly, and how does that relate to your customers' problems? So I used to have this business problem. I decided to solve it myself, and I think it can help you to give it a chance. And here's like one way to get started right now. So again, the number one most important thing for all of your emails, your first few emails for most of you guys, I would believe, is to get people to activate. If you're doing B2B, it's probably to get them to agree to a demo or a call. But if you're doing any kind of B2C, and even some B2B, the most important thing for them to do is to activate. So don't waste your welcome email, even if it's a letter from the founder and you're telling your founding myth. That's really just a brief backdrop to get them to activate. Most important thing is to get them to take one action within your product, because so many people never take the first step. So you want to make sure that you're helping them through your email messaging to take the first step. Okay. So I would also consider making this a letter from the founder rather than a random customer service rep, Rebecca, on the customer success team, just because of the psychological trigger of authority. Okay, so Rebecca, CEO, sounds a lot different than Rebecca, customer success team. And it's going to get people's attention, and it's going to actually change the way they interact with your call to action. So just try that for all of you guys. That's relevant for all of you guys. Any first email should always either be the most personal, it should be, if it's a B2B or enterprise, that should be their special agent or their special person, their account rep that they're always going to work with in that particular case. Or for all other cases, if there's no account rep kind of individual relationship, then it should just be the CEO or the founder. Make people feel important. Make people feel like you're a small business that's, not so small that it doesn't know what it's doing, but that you guys are a really smart yet personal startup, and that they're getting a letter directly from the founder themselves. And then my other feedback on this welcome email was, where is the call to action? And again, that's just related to what I was saying before. Don't think that the welcome email is too soon to get them to activate. It's the perfect moment to try to get them to activate. You know why? Because the welcome email, if you're doing it correctly, your welcome email has the highest open rates of any emails across the board. So most people are going to see, the greatest number of your subscribers are going to see that welcome email. Why not insert an opportunity for them to activate right then and there? All right, so you guys actually did have a founder story, a letter from the founder. So you can, my feedback on this was it needs some storytelling help. So specifically, ask yourselves, what is interesting to others outside of my life? What is interesting to others outside of my business and outside of my context? What are the essential details and what should be omitted? What would make this into a good movie trailer? If you had to write your founder myth or your letter from the founder as a movie trailer, how would that change this? And when I say movie trailer, I mean something really, really short. Okay, so you've only got people's attention for a very, very brief amount of time. And now the reason why I asked you guys in the homework to do a letter from the founder was because that can be the foundation for your welcome email. Very, very briefly, think if you had 2 sentences to distill the essence of your letter from the founder into 2 sentences, and then the rest is going to be about them and about how your business solves their problems. What would those 2 sentences be? How would you reduce down this whole letter from the founder into 2 sentences? Okay, great. So Screen Door, I actually can't show you guys the link. So I'm going to just skip that one, but I'll send you guys the notes. Also, we're kind of running low on time. Cladwell, let's take a look here. Cladwell. You guys see this? It's pretty big, right? Okay, so thank you for doing the homework again. I know it was a lot of work, so really appreciate it. List 3 customer-facing benefits in their words. Oops, where's this? Okay, so this is where I want to focus for you guys. The benefits are actually not in their words. It's in your words. It's in your marketing speak. Hang on a second. I've been asked by the master to do something. So here are the benefits, if you guys can see. Number 1, we help them simplify their wardrobes and get rid of clutter. Number 2, allows them to be more intentional about shopping. Number 3, it has revolutionized their mornings, makes getting dressed stress-free. Is this really true? Is this how your customers would say it? If I were a Cladwell customer, would I say, you help me simplify my wardrobe and get rid of clutter? Would I say, literally, would I say in my words, you allow me to be more intentional about shopping? Would I say in my words independently, not prepped in any way, it has revolutionized my mornings and makes getting dressed stress-free? If yes, then great. All you have to do is change it to the first person. If no, then you need to talk to some customers and find out really in their words, what are the true benefits? And not in marketing speak. Okay, so a couple of pieces of feedback about the welcome email subject line. I strongly discourage using unknown phrases in email marketing until you have a very, very, very established brand. And what I mean by unknown phrases is like cutesy branded stuff that's only branded to your brand. So for example, a capsule. I don't really know what a capsule is, and your users might have signed up and they might have known for like a split second what a capsule is, might have gotten it. But then after 6 hours or 8 hours or 24 hours and they receive your email amidst their 200 other emails, are they gonna then know what a capsule is still? Is it still gonna have the same resonance? Not as much as some of the other name brands that you're competing with. So try to be explanatory and cut the whimsy. If anybody watching in this room doesn't immediately know what a capsule is referring to, or if perhaps the majority of the room doesn't immediately know what a capsule is referring to in relevance to this business, then that's okay. You can still use that word, but remember that you have to actually educate people to the point where they can start recognizing that as a branded item, as part of your brand. So I wouldn't lead with that because it's just too random. And again, it's all about the benefits. So make sure that you say the benefits in their words, not in marketing language. It has to be understandable in their words, not in your marketing speak or in any cutesy branded terms. Look, until you're a really big company that's creating its own category, like Kleenex or something, you need to speak in the customer's words. You need to say soft facial tissue instead of Kleenex until you become Kleenex, if that makes any sense. Okay, so really quickly, we just got a couple more. The next company is Tallyfy. Now, let's see if it'll pull up the correct email. Yep, there we go. So you guys just sent me one email, which is, hang on a second. How do I minimize this HubSpot? There we go. It's an email. Here's an email we send out to a user who has signed up, and they get this 3 days after sign up. We have no other drips that go out to the user who signed up, which we need to fix immediately with your help. Yes, you do need to fix that immediately. And another thing you need to fix immediately is that you just told me they get this 3 days after sign up. That is not okay. They should get this right when they sign up. So I don't know what service you're using, but whatever it is, you need to trigger the send of this email as closely to the sign up instance as possible. So the old tired metaphor that I always use, that you probably heard in my email webinars if you watch the webinars, is if you get somebody's number, if you go out to a bar or wherever you meet people and you get somebody's number and then you don't call them for a week, what are they gonna think? They're not gonna remember who you are, and they're certainly not gonna be a warm lead by that point. So the essence is strike while the iron is hot. And when it comes to email marketing to signed up leads, it needs to be even tight. It cannot be a week and it cannot be 3 days. It needs to be same day, ideally within the hour. So you guys need to tighten that up, number one. And then I would say, here's my little formula for timing of drip campaigns that everybody in the webinar can use. So your first email, your welcome email, which can, or your transactional email, whatever is the first email you send, make that send right away, as quickly as possible. Your next email should go out the very next day or even that same day. And in that first week, don't be afraid to send up to 3 or even 4 emails to new subscribers. In the second week, don't be afraid to send 3 emails. And then in the third and fourth weeks, you can, what I call, back burner them onto sort of like a weekly newsletter. But don't do that until after 14 days has passed. In those first 14 days, in the first 2 weeks, you want to make sure you have a lot of touch points with people so that they remember who you are. The biggest problem that startups, I always say the number one thing. It's not always the number one thing because obviously I've said that like 10 times. But the biggest email frequency problem that startups have is not sending too frequently, okay? It's not sending frequently enough. That's the biggest frequency problem that startups have. And if you don't send frequently enough, as you know from watching the webinars, people will unsubscribe because they don't know who you are anymore. They forgot, or it doesn't seem connected. So you can't like tell a story in your drip campaign. So if you space them out too far, it's like you can't connect the dots, right? And all of that triggers unfamiliarity, and it triggers either spam button or the unsubscribe action. So you want to make sure you keep your frequency tight, and much tighter than you think, much tighter than your intuition is telling you. Take it from me. So just really quickly, the rest of this email, basically I had the same feedback as all the others. It's about them, it's not about you. So you ask feedback. Here's an email. It says, many thanks for signing up to Tallyfy a few days ago. I want to welcome you personally. Okay, great. What sorts of, then suddenly these questions, what sort of processes or checklists do you see yourself running on Tallyfy? Can you see it being part of your core routine processes? I really want to hear your feedback and suggestions. Okay, so these questions, your so-called feedback questions in the welcome email, are clearly all about your business, and they're not at all about the customer's actual process or problems or needs. Okay, Q&A after this. So before you talk about yourself and before you make it about your business's survey needs, you need to aim to learn about your customers deeply. Remember the neighborhood butcher, okay? So the neighborhood butcher isn't forcing his customers who walk in the door to tell him what kind of meats, they're not having a conversation about like, what's their favorite brand of meat that he should then go to his meat vendor and go buy. He is asking them about their kids and about like Bobby's basketball. This is so Americana. Bobby and his basketball team, and how's your husband doing, or how's your wife doing? How's the garden coming along? It's all about you. It's all about you, the customer, and that's why it feels so good, and that's why it's addictive, and that's why you keep going back to that butcher. Not only because it's convenient and it solves a problem for you, but because there's a sense of familiarity that's much harder to unsubscribe from, and much more defensible actually than the commodity of meat products. Okay, most products are just a commodity. What's not a commodity, the part that's very, very defensible, is the relationship that you have with your customers. And so don't make it about you, make it about them. Make it 90% them, 10% you. Everything that you say, everything that you send. Okay, so now we're just gonna get into Q&A. There's a couple of others, but I'll just send you guys the notes, Avocode and Parkbench. Chandini, you can turn off screen share and go to Slido and enter MHW to answer a few quick questions, but only one or two. Okay, so let me stop the screen sharing. Did it stop? Yes. Okay, so. Okay, Chandini, I'm going to do this now. Let's see. MHW. I'm going to cherry pick the questions. I'm just reading them right now. Oh, this is a good question. If the first activation email is so important, which I agree with, why not send personalized ones? It's more work, but for the first 1,000 customers, it's doable. I agree. I agree it's totally doable. But what do you mean personalized ones? Do you mean emails from your Gmail? Because that's not okay. The reason for that is because you want to make sure that your Gmail address or your work email address and your domain, so it's all about permission-based, right? So you want to make sure you're sending through a legitimate email marketing service provider, not through Gmail. Gmail is not meant for mass emailing. It's not meant, don't ever send like BCC a bunch of people or anything like that. That's very, very rookie mistake. And the reason why is because service providers like SendGrid or MailChimp or what have you, whatever you want to use, they're primarily in the business of high email deliverability, email cleanliness, and getting your email through in the right way. So you want to make sure you're using a legitimate email marketing provider, no matter what. If you want to send personalized emails, I would definitely encourage that if you're doing B2B and sales. And if you're gonna do that, make sure you're tracking it through a tool like HubSpot, through Sidekick and whatnot. But in general, if you're gonna do an email for somebody that signs up on your site, it's much better to use an automated tool because, again, it's all about doing it right away, right? So if you're gonna somehow send a personalized email from your work Gmail to everybody that signs up on your website, are you gonna like stay up 24 hours a day and be on red alert anytime you get a new sign up and send a welcome email through, or how are you gonna manage that? And you also wanna make sure that you're able to track, like we didn't talk about tracking in this webinar, but you wanna make sure you're able to track the success of your welcome email across multiple recipients, which you can't do if you're sending personalized emails. You can track open rates through Sidekick, but it's not tracked on the email level. So it's tracked like one-to-one to that particular subscriber, but you can't say like welcome email variant A performed like this, welcome email variant B performed like this. And especially when you're in the beginning, you want to make sure that you get as much quantitative as well as qualitative data as possible. I hope that answers the question. If not, feel free to email me, whoever put that question in, and we can talk about it more. Another little caveat, another little quick caveat is that you might try calling your customers when they sign up. Okay, Chandni says it's time to wrap up. So the questions will not get answered today, but we will figure out a solution. Maybe we can answer them in a doc and share with everybody or something like that. Okay, so I think that's it. Is that it, Chandni? Tell me what to do. I work for you. She said, thank you so much. Okay, thank you for attending, and see you guys at the next one, which will be in a couple of days. Chandni will tell you everything. She's the boss. Bye, everybody. Thank you.